Solving equations containing squares. To solve an equation of the form x squared equals to p, you need to take the square root of each side of the equation. So let's look at this example. X squared equals to 100. We must take the square root of each side. Therefore, we can take the square root of each side of the equation. Well, when you take the square root of each side, the square root of x squared equals to x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 100. So, take the square root of both sides. The square root of something squared, they just undo each other, leaving just x, is equal to plus or minus the square root of 100. Now we must simplify the square root. Therefore, x is equal to plus or minus, what is the square root of 100? What number times itself gives you 100? That would be 10. So your answer is x equals to 10 and x equals to negative 10. You can either write your answer this way or this way. It's the same answer. You have to take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is x. When you take the square root of both sides, you get plus or minus. The square root of 100 is 10. Therefore, I get positive 10 and negative 10 as my answer. So your solutions are 10 and negative 10. Now, we could check that answer. You can check this problem by plugging back into the original problem. Plug 10 in for x, square it, see if the left side equals the right side, and let's plug in negative 10 and square it, and let's see if the left side equals the right side. Well, 10 squared is 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So therefore the left side does equal the right side. Negative 10 squared. That's negative 10 times negative 10 equals to 100. Well, what is negative 10 times negative 10? You will get positive 100 equals to 100. So yes, my answer is correct. So let's look at a few more examples from topic 3-1, part 1. Solving equations using square roots. The first thing we must do is take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 gives you 2. Therefore, your answer is positive 2 and negative 2. Let's look at another example. The square root of x squared equals to 81. X squared equals to 81. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared equals x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 81. The square root of 81, what number times itself gives you 81? And that is 9. Therefore, x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 9. Because 9 times 9 equals 81. So the square root of 81 is 9. Let's look at C. X squared equals to 49. You will take the square root of both sides. The square root of both sides. The square root of x squared gives you x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 49. What number times itself equals to 49? Well, that would be 7. So x equals to plus or minus 7. Now you remove the radical. When you take the square root of 49, it comes out as just 7. When I took the square root of 81, it came out as just 9. When I took the square root of 4, it was 2. And then our last example, x squared equals to 16. Again, to solve an equation with x squared equals to p form, you will take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is x equals to plus or minus the square root of 16. You will always have two answers. And you get plus or minus, simplifying the radical. The square root of 16 gives you 4, because 4 times 4 gives you 16. So your final answer for D is x equals to positive 4 and negative 4.